to another edition of It's All Relative. I'm Josh.
And I'm Ange.
And today we're joined by a talented and unique artist who shares his emotions and perceptions through his musical metaphors. We'll hear about some of his most recent releases, talk about his come-up, life and industry struggles, and of course, music. So turn it up and let's get it rolling with an all-new episode right here on the It's All Relative podcast. Thank you all for tuning back in. It's been a little bit since we've been in studio. Thanksgiving has passed, and we are quickly approaching Christmas. I hope everyone out there had a great Thanksgiving. Angela, how was yours?
Mine was good. Nice little quiet dinner. A little too quiet, if you ask me, with my sister. And then I do a Friendsgiving with a couple of my friends, so that was pretty bombing.
Nice.
So, all in all, I had a good time.
Good.
It's one of my favorite holidays, so.
Okay, right on. Well, let me ask you them real quick. What's one of your favorite Thanksgiving food dishes?
Well, normally I would say homemade manigot that I make. But this year I made a pretty bombing stuffed mushroom. So, I don't know. It's got competition.
Nice. All right. Well, and then give me one of your least favorite. Like, what does not belong on a Thanksgiving dinner table?
Ooh. That's what doesn't belong. Just about anything goes. I think. I mean, I grew up in an Italian household, so there's antipasto
And the bird.
That was like the last course before dessert.
Yeah.
And then you had your pastas and your breads and your appetizers, and
Okay.
I think it pretty much everything goes. I can't really think of anything that I don't eat at a Thanksgiving dinner. So.
All right on. Well, then let's shift over. I mean, we're in December. Christmas is coming. Let's just take a quick bet. Are we gonna have a white Christmas?
I think so. I think this last couple of tiny snows really. I don't know anymore. I think we're gonna be surprised.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a judging. I say yes.
Okay. Well, just because you said yes, then I'll say no.
Okay.
But I really think yes. But I will say no. But anyway. All right. You ready to get our guest on?
I am.
All right. Heard by people in 39 different countries, over 9,700 streams, release of a new single all in the past year, making his It's All Relative debut. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Zack Wentzell, a.k.a. Rapin Frizzy.
Yeah.
Welcome.
What's up?
What's up, man? I know time is valued these days, so we really appreciate you agreeing to be here on It's All Relative.
Oh, no, absolutely. Any
Thank
break
you.
from taking care of my kids.
I feel you, man. It's like
That's how it works.
It's a vacation.
right, it's a job.
They're Irish twins. They're 9 months apart.
Yeah, that's worse. Mine are 12. No, we're like 18. What's a year and a half?
Year and a half?
Not Irish twins, so year and a half apart.
And how long did you say yours were?
9 months.
9 months,
9
yeah.
months.
That's crazy.
One right after the other.
I mean, congratulations.
Yeah, no.
And I'm sorry. You know.
And it's funny. My brother pointed it out. It was by the time I turned 28, I had one kid. And before I turned 29, I had the second one. So it's like just in that 1 year, I somehow ended up with 2 kids. Like I was so covered before that. Like, somehow I screwed it up.
Right on. Well, I mean, let's start from the beginning, bro. I mean, tell us a little about your background and, how and when Rapin Frizzy started doing his thing.
Well, it's funny because like I get that a lot too. Like I can barely even remember where the name even came from. I had to be in like 5th or 6th grade, and I vaguely remember writing it on like a composition notebook, and I was like, "Yep, that's it." And like that's about all I could remember from. I know it stemmed from I always had frizzy hair. That's all it was. And like I don't know, like I used to like metal rap a lot when I was in like elementary school, middle school, and everything. That was kind of my introduction.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought like Rapin Frizzy in my mind back then meant some kind of like cross between rap and like frizzy, as in like just some kind of static like clash.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what my like artistic vision was back then. I was probably like 10 or 11. But I just never saw a reason to change it.
Right on. This being our first time meeting and, just being able to go off sound, from the from some of the tracks that you've created. I love the fact that you're an example of someone who kind of breaks the typical stereotypes or the stereotype mold, and I hope that doesn't offend you.
No, not at all.
But and what I mean by that is that talent has no look or color. You feel me?
Yeah.
No boundary.
Right. So, with that being said, I just wanted to ask real quick, do you feel like rap music in general has become more diversified?
It definitely has, but like the general public would have you thinking otherwise, because it's like the most cliche common thing to say is like hip hop's not like it used to be, or like there's no good rap anymore. But it's more like people just aren't looking because they're generalizing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like realistically, yeah, it's way more diverse. There's way more going on in hip hop, but like as far as the people actually listening to hip hop go, like they'll tell you otherwise.
Right on. I mean, is there anyone that you would credit on helping that transition?
It's like this again feels like almost like a plug-in, because it's like I imagine a lot of people's go-to answer, but like I feel like Run the Jewels really started a new thing too. Like started out with like I would date it like Odd Future, like ASAP Mob when they first started out, like going like 2010, 2011 when they were really blowing up. That really changed the direction from like the copy and paste hip hop we were getting in mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden we got these weird art like freaking goons. And now then all of a sudden we got like Run the Jewels with Killer Mike and LP, and they just took that kind of like art direction but like really drilled it home and made it like more political, more like professionally done. And now all of a sudden you got that mold just being replicated in all different directions.
Right.
So now almost every kind of hip hop is generally accepted somewhere.
Right. It has grown a lot, you know what I'm saying? And it does sound different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god, the different, like, if you really just get into the subgenres, like, that's my favorite thing about rap, is looking in, like, those weird corners, is, like, that nobody else is rapping like this guy, and it's just, like, what the hell am I even listening to, but it's fire.
Right. Let me ask you, bro, you write all your own music?
Yeah.
Right on. So, I mean, you've created a nice list of tracks, and I want to address a few that stood out to me, but before we hit those, I wanna hear from you. What's one song that you've made that you're most proud of?
Most proud of? Now, like, there's a couple like categories I would say with that. Like, the most proud of, like, in terms of how it like worked, how it like went about, like views, like it functioned well, or just I personally like the writing.
You personally?
I think my best writing would be a song Love and Death, but I won't listen to it because like I hate writing sad songs or emotional ones, because like I just will stay in that pissed off emotional mood the rest of the week. So it's like that's why like my more current music now is like getting more and more goofy and more just lax, because I've realized I enjoy that way better. But lyrically and like in terms of like how much I put into it, Love and Death would probably be I'm most proud of in terms of like making it.
Right on. It's emotionally draining, putting that energy
My
in.
girlfriend's favorite one too, and she puts it on all the time, and I was like, stop.
That's gonna hurt. Where does the inspiration for your lyrics come from?
Really, it's like I almost write like I'm freestyling, because like I never think about what I'm gonna do first. So it's just I'll be listening to beats, and like I actually just recently started making my own, and now I'll just listen to them on repeat in my headphones at work, and then all of a sudden something will come to mind, and then usually it's something goofy or stupid, but I'll build off of it, and sometimes it makes something structured, sometimes it's just punchlines.
Nice.
But either way, like I don't premeditate them.
Nice.
I feel like I don't even got time to like think about it in advance. It's just I got to whip out my phone when a bar comes to me, because it's like there's between changing diapers and work, it's like no in between time.
Right.
One time I literally was driving and I had my brother in the car with me, and I was telling him like, "Oh wait, I just had a good one. Like, get out your phone. Like, write this down, because I'm not gonna get a chance to."
I always text myself things when I can't write it on my phone.
Yeah.
Don't forget this.
I always have a tab in my phone called Random Bars, because it's just like, oh, that's good, but I don't have anything to put it to. So like one day it'll come in handy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you could recommend only one song to a new listener, what would it be?
See, it's like I'd be jaded, because it's like I could think of songs that I'm like, oh, I'd want to show somebody this. But then at the same time, it's like naturally I want the newer songs to be like highlighted.
Right.
So it's like I'd have to like. I think I just put out a song called Frozone, and like I want to be like that one because like bar scale wise, like it's nuts. But I think in terms of like trying to hook somebody in, Chowder.
Okay.
Chowder is like more versatile because like it's dumb enough, like it's like it doesn't have a really huge plot structure to it. It's just kind of loose, but it's like intricate enough to where it could be appreciated even if you're somebody who is like doesn't like things that aren't more deep and meaningful.
Right.
I get some people are really like, no, I want songs that make me sad or make me feel something. But I like making songs that either make you or songs that's just like, oh yeah, that's a bop. Like that's been my whole thing lately. Is like I'm just making bops. Like every now and then I sneak something meaningful into them,
Right.
like in the subtext. But like I try to bury that down these days.
Right on.
I got no room to make myself sad for art.
Right on.
Keep it positive.
Yeah, for sure. How would you describe the music that you create? I mean, you kind of touched on that, but I mean, a little more, or you know, what's the message, bro?
The message is, even that varies. It's like I can't pick a lane. Like that's one of my like, I'd say attribute and biggest problems, is because it's like it goes back to what I was saying about how many subgenres in hip hop there are. It's like I can't pick one. So there's just so many different variants of what I do that I can't really. It's hard to categorize it. But lately, I'd say like my whole like shtick has just been making like punchline bars, like sliding something important in that I'm like, oh wait, maybe I'll have a little bit of a message in it. But like I always bury it these days because it's like unless it's something that I'm like really fired up about at that moment, like this album I'm working on, like that I'm planning for like next year. I'm trying to get out of like just strictly like fun bars, but right now the stuff I'm currently pumping out, it's literally just for bumping in your car. I just want some shit that's just like it's not gonna make you think about anything important. I don't want to stress people out. I don't want to stress myself out. I just want it to be like a party.
I feel you. I mean, what about the audience though that does feed off of the more emotional side of songs? That's
when I've been playing a bunch of shows for like a lot of that kind of genre lately, and like I don't know how I ended up on it, but like I kind of am very set apart, so I end up dragging old songs from when I used to be a sad boy. So like because I've been rapping for so long, I'm 30 now, and I started recording at 15, so like somewhere along the line there are some good ones from back then that I could pull out now because I'm like, oh yeah, it'll match this venue better. So it's like I am versatile enough to where I'm like, okay, I could cater to it if I have to, but I'm trying to find the right line between like being serious and having like a message and just keeping it loose.
Right.
I'm trying to find that like middle ground.
Right on.
What kind of venues can people find you at? These
days it's hard. Like around here, like local games terrible. Like, but I've been getting hooked up with a bunch of shows in Pennsylvania all of a sudden, like Allentown especially.
Okay.
And like I've been getting cool offers too, like it's like random ones too. Like I'm not a big fan of them, like, but in March I'm supposed to like open for Lil Xan, I guess. And like I don't know, my boy just hit me up and he's like, yeah, we're doing this show at this point. You want to do it? And I'm like, cool, yeah. I don't know how I got hooked up with these Pennsylvania people, but they're dope.
They want you.
Right.
No. Gotta give them what they want, right?
Yeah. No, they be looking out.
Well, I mean, exposure, right, bro?
No,
I mean,
absolutely.
any chance or any chance to be able to get your name out there and shine some light on you. I mean, by all means, bro, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Go after that. But Angela, let me ask you then real quick. Are there any tracks that stood out to you that you listened to, and if so, why?
Okay, so one of my favorites that I've heard, and I probably didn't even hear them all, was the Oh My Damn, I think it's called.
Oh man, that's digging deep. That's back. That's one of the oldest ones that I left out because it was good enough. Like I hate a bunch of them old ones.
Well, I'm glad you did. Thank you for that because I really liked it, and I could.
We do
like
our research,
dance.
bro.
That's a good one. I always like that hook.
That one really gets me like.
Yeah, that was the last song, the feature on it. Ari the Barber. She basically stopped rapping and she cuts hair and like really well. Like she's tournament style and shit. Like she's
nice.
about it. So, but that was the last thing, as far as I know, she ever recorded. Like, I shared it, like, and like came up in my Facebook memories, and she commented like, "Man, that's the last time I ever recorded a bar." I'm like, "No shit, like I got that on her, huh?"
Shit.
She killed that shit.
That was awesome. I liked it. I mean, I like most of them. There was a couple I was like, eh.
And there's a few that I'm like, eh. Like my most popular song is like still hard for me to listen to in a certain company because I'm just like, yeah, that was supposed to be a throwaway that just ended up slapping way harder than it should.
Which one?
Lemon.
Okay.
Lemon's my baby. It's like it performed better than I ever could have imagined, and like with very little prompt on my end, it just kind of took off on its own. But it was really just, I made it because it was funny. Like, I was thinking of the hook at work one day, and I was like, I got to make something to it. And I went over to studio with Jackson, and he told me, like, yeah, no, I wanted to auto-tune. He's like, fuck that, we're not doing auto-tune. And, like, best decision ever because that shit came out so good.
Yeah, we gotta say shout out Jack. He's a big part of
he made
this
that
show. He actually I was gonna mention too because I know that the video was shot by him.
I was just gonna say that same morning, like I went up there like 8 a.m. We recorded Lemon in like an hour, and then next hour we just walked around like Ellenville and like found different locations. He's like, all right, right here, right here, right here. We filmed it in like 30 minutes, but shit came out dope. He had it back to me in like a week.
Right on, that's my man.
Quick.
Yeah. Shout out Jack. Shout out South Sound of Media. Any other songs that you can that stood out to you?
Name wise, I probably couldn't. Honestly, if
It doesn't
like
help that I name my songs stupid things half the time. Like, I usually just name them off of a word from my favorite bar. That's 90% of the time. That's what I name it after. I'm like, that's my favorite bar. Like Frozone. It was just. I liked that bar, so I was like, I'm calling it Frozone because that's what I said somewhere in there.
Well, you've mentioned that a few times, bro. I know that's your most recent release, I wanted to bring that up because I love the beat, I love the flow, hence the title of the show. I mean, we did title this show Frozone Flow.
Dope.
Because
I love it too.
When I heard this song, I felt like, it was a song where everything fit together perfect, like a puzzle piece.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, it does slap. Like the beat was sick. I want to know though, how's the reaction been so far?
Honestly, not as good as because I've been dropping a song every 2 weeks now. Is like I stack up songs I'm so bad at releasing things because I'm like it's not ready yet. It doesn't sound good enough.
Right.
So I'm trying to break that because I'm writing new stuff that I'm excited to record. But I can't rightfully spend money on making new stuff when I've got 13 tracks sitting in my phone.
Right.
So, like, Frozone is one of those that just is not going to be on an album. It's just, I'm trying to pump them out every 2 weeks. But, Frozone was not my best in terms of marketing because I posted it up a couple times. And usually, like, I'm on my, like, marketing game. Like, I reach out to whatever contacts I have because, like, they don't come to me half the time. I got to put in the work.
Of course, yeah.
It's like I'm not gonna front like I'm big enough to where I could put something out and not touch it, and all of a sudden it's in the thousands. I can get my numbers up when I want to, but it's like I gotta be up for 3 days straight, just fucking marketing my ass off.
We're in the same boat.
And like I won't do Facebook marketing anymore because fuck that. Like it worked out when that shit first started up. It was great. Like when you like learned how to do the algorithms before it was kind of automated. So like it was worth it back then, but now it is stupid. Like I realized that the best marketing now is just making a big fucking contact list.
Yeah.
Dedicating hours of just emailing each person individually.
Absolutely. I mean, well,
I did not do that with Frozone though. I put it out and then so much shit was going on, and like I just had no time, and then I was exhausted, and then I was working a lot of overtime. So like I just neglected it. And what I'll do whenever that happens, when I'm like I haven't even looked at it, I haven't posted it in days, like I haven't done any marketing, I'll wait even longer because I don't want to look at the low number because I'm like I don't want to be disappointed.
Right. No, I mean,
so Frozone's one of those where I didn't do enough with it. But
okay.
Like, it's still fresh. Just means that I gotta still do it.
It is. Well, I mean, hopefully just us talking and mentioning, that song. Hopefully more people will look into it because I mean I highly recommend that to all our listeners. It's dope.
Yeah, see, like the thing too is I've never released songs this consecutively. Like I'll release like unless I'm putting out like a whole project at once, like maybe 3 songs a year that I like spend months like pre-prepping before I actually drop it. But that's why I'm in this position where I have all these songs that I'm just like, the fuck am I doing sitting on them? Some of them are like 2 years old.
Right.
And I'm just like, in my mind, they've been out for years. I'm like, shit, no, I've never even fucking shown anybody this. So, like, that's part of the problem,
Hoarding
too, is
good
I'm not
songs.
used to putting in this much marketing, like, energy in such short gaps before the next one.
Right.
Like, not this weekend, but this coming weekend, I put out my next one, Drone, already. And it's like, I'm already like, shit, I barely marketed Frozone. And like, I can't have 2 busts in a row, but I can't abandon Frozone either. So now I'm just like, shit, now it's like having double the homework, you know?
Right,
Ride it out.
absolutely.
So it's like, I'm trying to like condition myself to get used to just trying to like get on that kind of like function.
Yeah. Well, don't abandon Frozone, bro.
No, I can't. That shit's bars.
I mean,
Like, it might not, it's not like it's not like something you're bumping, like, it's not catchy or anything like that. You know, there's no hook. It's just, I wanted to show off, basically. Like, every now and then I gotta have one that's just like endless bars that's just like, when does it end?
well, I think the beat is what is catchy.
Oh, I love it.
Like, it catches you. You know what I'm saying?
Man, all my beats come from this guy, 8 a.m. Beats. I don't even honestly know his real name. My boy Beamer, who lives out in New Mexico, where I used to live for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And we lived in Albuquerque, and he was making beats
shit.
with this kid. And he's like, yeah, you gotta use his beats. He's great. So I linked up with him, and he just started feeding me beats. And he didn't really give him that. Like, he puts them on YouTube, but like, he doesn't push him. He doesn't sell them. He'll do a lot of beats. As far as I know, I've never seen him. He's just like, hey, you need beats? Like, here you go.
That's
he always fed them to me, and I'm like, shit, like, awesome.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
ever since I started using his, my shit's just been better and better. Like, Lemon was the one that him and my friend had made together. That was the first one they did.
Nice.
And Lemon ended up my most successful song, at least YouTube-wise.
That's awesome.
So it's like, shout out 8 a.m. Beats for sure. But now I'm moving on. I've learned how to make beats myself now. I'm getting, like, I don't want to brag, but I'm getting dope at it. So now I'm, like, making beats that, like, really match what my brain's at. So, like, that's why I'm really trying to push these songs out now, so I can just get to working on that more.
That's awesome.
More unique.
Yeah. No, exactly. Like
Yeah.
I make like weird ass beats too, just because I'm like, I want them to sound current.
Oh,
Like, that's how I
excited.
do my music in general. Like, I want them to sound current in the sense that it's like you can hear some other mainstream rapper singing or some abstract motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to kind of have the blend between like the like art goons and the fucking mainstream shit.
Right on.
You know, I want it to kind of fit in the middle.
Yeah. Find, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let me ask you real quick about Hunger Games. What was the inspiration behind this?
Hunger Games, I literally wrote on a piece of loose leaf, and I was at work, and I was bored. I was way ahead of schedule because my job is you have a set amount of time to do a set amount of things.
Right.
Nobody watches, nobody cares what you do and when, as long as they come in tomorrow and it's done.
Mm-hmm.
So some days you end up with a lot of spare time. So I remember I was just sitting down in one of the like tech classrooms, and I'm just like, all right, let me write something. I jotted that shit down. It was originally written really slow, like in flow mode, because I didn't write it to a beat or anything.
Right.
But then my boy sent me that beat, and I was like going through what I had to see if anything matched, and I was like, oh shit, if I sped this up, that actually sounds dope. I recorded it like 2 days later, even though I had way more important stuff on the list, but I couldn't not. Nah, that shit slapped.
Yeah.
And it did pretty well too, like, so I was happy with it.
That was a really good one too. I mean, I will quickly mention a few others. I mean, and by all means, bro, if you want to give us a little backstory on either of them or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, Cactus Dance was dope.
Cactus Dance is like, that's one of the rare, like, where I actually put some emotion into it, but like I balanced it correctly. Like, I'm better at being angry than I am about being emotional and shit. Like, some of my more emotional songs, like, I won't like listening to them. I didn't enjoy writing them.
Right.
I think they're good. Like, I'm not hating on them, but I don't want to hear them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the same thing with like sad songs in general. Like, from any artist, like, I can appreciate it. Like, it's not like it sounds bad to me.
Right.
It's just like, why do I want to be sad?
Yeah, you don't want to be putting.
And it's like, we're not synergy. Like, some people are helped by that. Like, if someone's depressed and they listen to a depressed song, like, oh, I'm not alone. It doesn't work that way for me. For me, it's just like, oh, wow, you're sad too, huh?
Yeah. I feel you. Another one was Willie Gates.
Willie Gates.
I love that one.
That was a good one.
That one is, I have like a whole thing with that because the bar structure in it, like as far as bar counts go, is really like weird because it shouldn't work the way it does, especially in the beginning because of the way I cram my syllables in with the beat. And I've had that one actually had a few different like reaction channels go for it, and a couple of them pointed that out. They're like, "Wait, what the fuck?" And they had to run it back because like, it's not like a 1-2 like. And it's songs like Willie Gates. I like that like only select people will really like appreciate like stuff like bar measures and shit. You know, it's like that's the people like lyrics, people like beats, people like punchlines or catchy hooks.
Right.
But there's a small percentage who are counting your bars and are like, what the fuck did he just do there? Based on literal like music math.
Nice.
And like that's one of those songs that I kind of did that with, and I was proud of.
That's
but
dope.
you know, it's not that it went over people's heads. It's more like most people don't give a shit.
Hey, I mean, I'd be proud of that, bro. Because I mean, I wouldn't know, you know, I wouldn't be able to count that shit. I'm not.
I'm terrible at it. I can't actually. If you told me to sit here and count them, I'm terrible at it. But like I have like I don't know, an internal metronome, I guess, because I never miss a step. But and like I can know when to start, even if I've never heard the beat. You could be playing the drums, and I'll know when the measure is on point every time. But like if you were like, yeah, no, count them out, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Shit, bro. I mean, talent. You know what I'm saying?
It's either talent or like some kind of fucking brain defect that works in my favor. But like,
Well, let me ask you then about music in general, real quick. I mean, your typical music that you listen to on a daily basis, is it broad or is it straight rap?
It's
or is
definitely broad. Like
Okay.
genre-wise, it's broad, but like I'll have things that I'll always listen to that are like timeless. You know, like shit that I've listened to for years and always come back to. But like I'll keep in doses because like I've known these songs and these bands for so long, I can't let them go stale. But then there's my regulars that I get stuck listening to for years endlessly. Then I'm just like, why is this my favorite fucking music? And that's where I've been stuck in. All the things that I listen to daily are fucking awful. Like, they're terrible people.
What's an example?
There's this crew that's out in Vancouver. They go by Pony Squad.
Okay.
Or Pony Club, sorry. But they're led by this guy, Golden BSP, who's just like the weirdest. Just seeing him is just like, what the fuck is this? But then like, and you want to hate it because he like raps in this weird fucking baby voice. He's just everything about it shouldn't work. But then when you like stop like actually paying attention to like how confused you are by it, and you like absorb it, and you're like, fuck, man, that is insanely good music. Just really like, I like to think I'm pretty out of pocket. I like to say shit that's just like, what the fuck he say? But like, this motherfucker says shit that I'm just like, yo, wash your mouth out, dude. Like,
oh shit!
But like they've been my
Makes you
main
look like
thing.
a
Like,
saint.
like I'll get a little explicit. Just as I have to give an example. They have this one song. And it's like you've heard like people do like just try to do the screamo rap and shit, but like it's not that. Like when I say they scream their lyrics, it's literally like they're just like angry, angsty kids, just like yelling at their mom or something. But he has this one part that he says something about. He's like, something about swimming in this stupid bitch pussy like a tadpole. And I was like, what the fuck? And just the way he snuck it in. And like with like just the trick of the flow he did. And it's like it almost like goes in one ear and out the other, but you're like, oh, no, hold on. Like you didn't just fucking say that.
Right.
And it's like that whole song is just filled with just things that are terrible. I don't agree with. Like, I'm not misogynistic, but you would think I am because, like, I just think things are funny to say. And if I think of a funny punchline, like, I'm just like, yo, I can't not. And I'm like,
Yeah, I laugh at that one ending, or not an ending, but the one, and I fucked her in the forest, and I bullied my
yeah.
life.
See, that's the problem is, like, I have a policy. I won't rewrite bars. Like, when I wrote it down for a reason. I'm like, nope, that's good.
Right.
The only time I'll cross them out is if I'm just like, nah, it doesn't work. Like, it doesn't fit in. But if it fits, and it made me go, it's staying in there, no matter how awful.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I
like,
respect that.
I have my boundaries. You know, it's like I try not to hate on any particular group, and I always feel bad because there are like women who are like, oh, you say bitches. How are you gonna like say you're pro women? I'm like,
right.
I actually wrote for the new project I'm working on. I kind of addressed that, and I'm like, I rap about sex, but I'm not a sexist. Like, I see moms, women, I forget how it was like, I see moms, women, bitches, hoes, and exes. And it's like, and all of them get my respects.
Right.
You know, it's like,
my man.
It's like there's subcategories to everything. It's like, just because there's bitches and hoes doesn't mean that they're a bad thing, and it doesn't mean that represents everybody.
Right.
You know, it's like, I'm not about taking out words from hip-hop. I'm more about, like, broadening people's mind about, like, where to direct it. Like, it doesn't mean you unless you want it to, and that's cool, too. My girlfriend loves being a bitch. Like, she's like, no, I'm your bitch. I'm like, she is really, like, I was always dated really, like, feminist people. And, you know, like, I've been conditioned to that. Now my fiance is opposite. Like, I am such a feminist compared to her, and it's like I'm constantly like, "The fuck are you saying? Like, no, like, stop it. We have to raise. We have 2 daughters. Like, I'm gonna have to take control here." But it's like it's made me worse because now I'm like, whereas before, like whether I was single or dating somebody, I was a lot more careful. I'm like, no, I can't say that. But like she's kind of like poisoned me. She brought my like toxic back out because now I'm just like, nah, she'd think that was funny. And like so now I'm writing way more out of pocket shit just to make her laugh. But I'm just like, fuck, man, people are gonna hate me. Like they're gonna love it because it's funny and it slaps, but they're still gonna hate me.
Hey, if it works, right?
People who know me will know I'm not a bad person, but people who don't know me are just gonna assume I'm fucking awful, depending on what song you listen to.
Right. I mean, I think it like falls in the typical like you got to be able to separate the art, the words.
Exactly.
From,
and like there is a line to that too. It's like I can't stand like you see people just rapping about like. I don't listen to much of him. Maybe it's not how he does it anymore. But like the Tom McDonald dude is like just hits topics that are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna rap about racism because like it's gonna get you guys fired up and angry. And it's like that's stupid to me. Like saying racist shit and like homophobic shit. I'm like, I don't know. Like it's almost contradicting because like I said, it's like yeah, but you rap about like fucking bitches this, and like
right.
sucking dick that, and it's like yeah, you have a point, and I see your point. But there's a line between you're being disrespectful intentionally and you're just speaking freely. And like so there's like a hot and cold to everything.
Absolutely. Let me ask you real quick. Is there any collab that you've done with anybody that sticks out to you?
I tell people about this all the time. I get so geeked out over it because like I have a couple that I'm so proud of. Like, and in my like niche of like hip hop and like what I've listened to like is a primary like some of the artists that I've got on who like people are like who's that? That's cool, I guess. They're like my Nas and Jay-Z.
Right.
It's like if you look at like the art rap scene, like especially like going back like between like 2009 and like 2013, there was like this whole branch of hip hop that like in that niche, everybody who listens to that, they are like the top. And it's crazy to me because I'll be like, yeah, like Mr. Motherfucking X Squire is one of them. And, I've been listening to this dude since I was like 16, 17. And same with the artist Kool AD. And I've got multiple songs with both. Like, I got one with X Squire and another one we're supposed to work on. I got 2 with Kool AD. And in my mind, I'm just like, he's huge.
Yeah.
I'm just like, but then I go like to brag about it to somebody and they're like, who's that? I'm like, fuck, that's right. I like weird shit that nobody else like. Either nobody knows or they knew back then, but they've moved on. Cause like, I'm just like, well, to me, this is dope.
Right.
Like, I got really good features if you ask me. But if you ask like 90% of other people, they're like, I think that's good.
Well, like you said, just because they don't know. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, and they're big artists too. It's like, I'm not trying to underplay them. It's just like, it's like I said about subgenres. I'll listen to Schoolboy Q, I'll listen to Kendrick Lamar, but then I'm going to listen to Kool AD. And to me, they're on the same level because hip-hop's in so many branches that it's like comparing one branch to another makes no sense. And like, I don't like looking at numbers as like an artist's merit. So it's like, this guy is just as important as this guy to me. And the fact that I've listened to him for so many years and now, like, he hit me up when my kid was born, like just texted me, like, oh, yeah, congratulations and shit. He, like, he congratulated me and texted me on, like, my anniversary and shit. I'm just like, it's fucking, like, weird. Like, it's not like we're boys or anything, but it's,
That's cool.
I think back to, like, high school and we're, like, going to parties and we're bumping this shit out of the back of a truck or something. And now he's hitting me up, like, yeah, how's the family, man? And it's, like, pretty dope. Like, still weird to me, but, like, all right, it was good.
Nice. Well, I mean, I want to commend you, bro, because I mean, you don't just drop tracks, but you have a nice list of videos. We've touched on a few of those. Some got a nice psychedelic vibe to them, but I mean, can you speak about some of those videos, the ideas, and maybe some reasons why you decide on making them?
So, like, my whole thing was I was from the era where everybody, like, between, like, MTV and, like, when it kind of had bounced back and everybody was watching Fuse if you wanted to actually watch music videos. Before school every morning, I was watching that. And, like, so that conditioned me to believe for years that a song's only popular if you had a video for it. And even when I knew that wasn't necessarily the case, that still stuck in my head. And I always hated releasing anything without some kind of at least a visualizer. But I got kids now, that shit's expensive. And I'm creative. I don't have the equipment though. But I'm creative enough to where I'm like, no, I bet I can make this at least passable, and at the very least somebody's gonna be tripping balls going like, this looks cool. So it's like I'm a believer in always having a video of some sort for your songs. But like it really just boils down to like that's just conditioning. Like as a kid I just thought that's what you had to do. So now as an adult I'm like, no, I can't release this. I haven't recorded anything for it yet.
Right on. I understand that. I grew up in the time too when MTV and VH1 were still very big in music videos, and that's what when I was a kid that's what we did. Watch music videos.
Even like after it moved on, I just remember like so many days were just like, oh, my turn, like let me put a song on YouTube showing the boy, we're just smoking weed in the house and just fucking who's got the next new guy. It's like that was so like years of just music videos. So it's like now it is so much streaming and like Spotify and everything, like it's kind of phased out in a way. Like it's not that people don't watch videos anymore, but it's just there's more ways to listen to music now than just that. But in my mind that's still like the way. It's like just fucking getting high as shit with your boys and like, yeah, check this one out. It's trippy as shit.
Yeah, I understand that. We've had a musician on a previous show that we've done, and he actually was a childhood friend of mine, and he, he's in a band. He plays a different type of music, but he was in multiple music videos that were like done nice, and when I talked about that with him, like I was impressed, because I grew up in that same sense of like, oh shit, music videos, etc. But and like to him it was just like, oh yeah, it was cool being in the video. But like to me, I was like you were saying, like my shit was blown. Like, bro, you was in a music video.
Especially
like,
when that shit comes out real fire too, like looks real professional.
Right.
So I felt like when Jackson sent me Lemon, and then like I feel bad because I almost kind of fucked it up because he made it great and exactly how we wanted it. But like as soon as it was in my hands, I'm like, I'm gonna make it trippier. So like instantly I'm running it through my shit, and I was like, all right, I want to add like a flashing banana here. I'm gonna make crazy colors here, and like it was almost all the shots, all the images, and like he perfected everything. I just kind of fucked it up with effects, but like in my opinion, it's great. But like most people are like, what the fuck is going on? That was just from years of psychedelics, which make my brain think that that's how this shit should look.
Right on. We're gonna take a quick break soon, but Angela, anything else that you wanna hit?
I do hope we didn't cover it this, but I know you started recording at like 15, you said.
Yeah.
But when was it that you were like, you know what? I want to start recording.
Well, what happened was like I would rap like it's like I swear to God it's the most like cliche like suburban kid freaking way to start rapping, but started like when we were kids and we'd freestyle, like with your friends, and one kid, and every time that happens, no matter where you are, if there's a group of 5 like 6th graders in a room freestyling together, one of them finds out he's really good, and that's essentially what happened. But like you weren't like in my circle, they were all metal kids, but everybody was a closet rap fan. And so we all had to hide it from each other. Like with certain people, I'm like, yeah, no, like Wu-Tang's my shit. And then you go around like your boys, and you're just like, yeah, no, man, it's System of a Down, Metallica, right? But then, all of a sudden, I'm realizing I can rap. So all of a sudden, I'm like putting on more stuff. I'm like, yeah, no, DMX is okay. I'm like, yeah, no, Wu-Tang, they have a song with System of a Down. And like, little do I know, all my friends are doing the same shit. They're just like, everybody was like afraid to admit to each other that we're all hip-hop fans. It was stupid. Looking back, but, 5th, 6th grade, it's like, everybody's, especially if all your friends, like, we listen to this. We're all metal kids, which are the most jaded fan base in the world. So it's like, metal kids are not allowed to admit they like anything, especially rapper pop, at least back then.
Right.
Now they're like the most sensitive people in the world.
Right.
But
I
it's
grew.
like,
I mean, I don't. Not to cut you off, bro, my
you're
fault. But I mean, I grew up through those phases too,
Yeah.
and because of all that shit, that's why I feel like my music spectrum is so wide like that.
Yeah,
because,
mine's really wide.
but like, I'm also at the age too where like I don't give a fuck what is popular. Like, I listen to whatever I think sounds good and what is good. Like, there's metal shit that I still. I mean, I listen to older. Still a lot of the oldie stuff, so there's a lot of metal shit that I listen to.
All my metal is like seasonal now. I save it for like, it's like Halloween up type of negative season. Like, you know, it's like it comes in rotations.
Right, absolutely. And then, you know, like I'm saying, like then there's my usual daily stuff is usually rap stuff, but I mean, there's plenty of different like rocks. My shit is all over the place. I've said that multiple times, and I'm sure we're gonna cover that after break.
The most difficult thing is like just name your top 10 favorite artists or bands. It's like, fuck, man. It's like, it's so hard. I could never put them in an order.
Yeah.
And no matter what, there's going to be 10 different genres.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
that's the beauty of it all, though. That's what I like. I like people who are open to having, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like, I never got the concept of, I'd never heard of that because I don't listen to that genre. And it's like, not even a little bit. Like, I'll be the first one to say, like, I can't stand country, but, like, I'll also be the first one to say, except for this one, this one, and this one. Like, you know, it's like, I hate country.
Like, I hate country.
I mean, Charlie Daniels is pretty cool, though. It's like, I mean, if you're going to count Willie Nelson, of course. And it's like, all right. And then, you know, before you know it, you've listed about two more, and you're like, I guess I know a little more country than I wanted to admit.
Right.
But overall, it's still a shit genre.
Right on. But, all right, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll continue to talk with Frizzy as we discuss more about the creation of music, emotions behind songs, life-changing albums, and life struggles. So make sure you come back with us right here on the It's All Relative podcast.
I'm in the game now, shit's the same now. Explode next mode, I'm the same how. Don't say you know me, just say you did. When you see me sliding off to another crib, boom, in the game now, I'm the same how. The rap game will never be the same now. Don't say you know me, just say you did. When you hear Y.O, say that's that shit.
Welcome back to It's All Relative. Still with us in studio, Zack Wentzell, a.k.a. Rapin Frizzy.
Yeah, Frizzy, how you doing, raps?
My man. All right, bro. Can you talk to us about some common misconceptions when it comes to making music?
I think the biggest part with that is just like artist to artist, it's like so different. Like people seem to think there's like one kind of structure for how a song is made or should be made, I guess. Like, I don't know. You could take an artist who like puts their soul in everything. They'll spend a month on one song because they're that meticulous. And then there'll be somebody like me who like, you know, I'll fucking scratch something on a piece of paper and like find one day, months later that like it sounds good here, you know. And then I sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes I will painstakingly work on something, but like I think the biggest misconception is that there's one set way that artists write songs and that there's one right way. Like there's no right way to do anything.
Right.
You know, it's like the whole argument with people like who study music theory and then people who just like to play the guitar and they can find that they can do it okay. You know, it's almost like a negative energy against each other because they're like, this is how music's made, and like, well, I can just strum it and make it. This is music, right?
Right.
So you know, it's like I think the biggest misconception is just the idea that there's a right way to do it.
Everyone's got their own process. Can you recall a certain life struggle that you know that maybe you faced or overcome, and if you can recall one, you know, fill us in on maybe your motivation that you use to help you. You know what I'm saying? Overcome whatever.
I mean, there's like the obvious cliche. Like I feel like everybody these days has like it has gone through their bouts of depression and everything. And like, you know, I don't like harping on it. And like I don't mind when other people do. Like everybody's got their own outlet, but it's like, you know, just a touch of quays. Like I've been through that ringer of like, you know, suicidal thoughts and all that shit. And you know, even now I'll creep back in now and then, but it's less something I overcame and more something I started to learn to ignore. And like I stopped even letting it reflect in my music, as I was kind of talking about before. I think the biggest thing, in my opinion, that I overcame was letting like strong emotions dictate how I carried myself. And, you know, it's like, and the more I just kind of ignored the problem in a way, like it sounds bad saying it like that, but like in a sense, that's what it was. It was like, this is bothering me. It's been bothering me. It's eventually gonna be my destruction, and I don't know what to do about it. And I was, not that I'm against people taking meds, but like I didn't trust myself with meds.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never was really addicted to one thing or another, but I knew I liked to party when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew if I had any prescription that had any kind of street value, I was gonna get in trouble.
Right.
So like I stayed away from all that shit. But like I don't know. I think overcoming wise, it's like there's the cliche, like yeah, there was all the kind of mental issues that, but like some people are like, I overcame them because I'm happy now. My version of overcame them is I don't let them bleed through as much or dictate shit anymore. You know, it's like I might be sad tomorrow and might be really fucking sad tomorrow, but like I'm done letting that shit just like dictate what I'm gonna do.
Right on. So you've kind of learned how to suppress some of the...
Yeah, it might not be the healthiest way for everybody, but like it works pretty good for me.
Right on.
I'm easily distractible too, so all I gotta do is like ignore it for a little bit till something funny happens. I'm like, oh shit, there we go.
Right on. I mean, we all carry and have, you know, our demons.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? I mentioned I have conversations with my wife too often about like, you know, like we all hear voices and hear shit, right? Or at least I do.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So I mean I understand. We all have our demons. We all face certain things. You know, we did kind of talk earlier about how, you know, music, certain music sparks certain emotions.
Yeah.
And you know, you have talked about kind of like you'd kind of like to steer away from some of that. But you know, I mean, I feel like that is one common thing that many people, one reason why they enjoy music or whatever is because of the emotion that may come up, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, with that being said, I kind of wanted to, you know, talk with both of you and ask you if maybe you guys can think of any particular songs maybe that spark or bring up a certain emotion for you guys personally.
Well, you know what's funny? Like you're saying, I'm thinking about it. Like how you said, like it is true. Like I do kind of stray from more emotional songs, but like when I really think about it, it's kind of more hip hop emotion that I kind of been straying from. Like I like rap songs. Like if it's got a purpose and a meaning behind it, it's got like just the sad songs is what I stray from.
Right.
But when I think about it, that doesn't really actually line up for every genre for me. Like you know, there's some of the saddest songs I fucking love are all in other genres. I can listen to them. For some reason, it's sad hip hop just doesn't sit right with me. It's not that I think it's bad, and it's like one of the most popular fucking subgenres of hip hop right now. It's like sad music,
right?
But it's just for some reason with hip hop, it doesn't hit me.
Well, it almost doesn't seem like it goes together.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it hits me. But at the same time, it's like it must, because, you know, there's such a vast majority of people who are like, no, this is the shit. And it's like I can see the authenticity behind it. I see what they see in it. But at the same time, it's just like, it just doesn't do that for me. For me, it's just like, now I'm just sad. And I think it's because it's hip hop, it's like spoken word. Whereas like when it's a band or a different genre, you know, it's kind of like you get that emotion, but you're feeling it from all the instruments too and everything. With hip hop, it's just like you're getting this guy's direct words, and that's the focal point. And I'm like, man, it's just like his sadness is hitting me more because there's not like a cool guitar riff with it. You know, and it's like
that makes sense.
Like,
yeah,
like going to like what you said, like a song that would like like pull emotion out of me that I listen to regularly. My favorite song in the world is the band TV on the Radio, Wolf Like Me. And it's like, I hate saying it too, because anybody who likes that band knows that that's like the popular song. That's the one that everybody knows.
right.
So it's kind of like the fucking like cliche answer for that. But that song, I'll listen to it more often than any other song in the world. And it's sad as shit to me for some reason. It's not even supposed to be.
Right.
But it's just one of those songs that for whatever reason, that's pulls so much emotion out.
Right on.
And like that would be like my biggest inspiration for music. It's a whole different genre. You know, so.
Right on. I mean, what about you, Angela? Any songs that come to mind that may spark some. I mean, it doesn't have to be sadness. I mean, shit that
Emotion
might
in
get you
general.
angry. You know what I'm saying?
More like sadness isn't it? It's more like it moves me, but like I've never been able to pinpoint why.
Right.
It's just something powerful about it. You know,
Mhm.
it's like one of those songs that just pulls every emotion out of you, and for whatever reason. But it's concreted like that.
I understand.
I mean, I don't necessarily have a song per se, but like Coldplay, the band Coldplay, for some reason, if I'm, going through something in my life and I listen to that, it just pulls me out of it in a way that nothing else can. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, it's sad, but it's more like spiritually upbeat. So it just brings me, and it brings me out of whatever, depression, I'm in. Not necessarily any specific song, but just their music in general.
Right, I understand it. I love how like music affects everybody in their own way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I mentioned it before. Like my music taste is all over the place, and I mean there are two. I mean, somewhat. They were pretty mainstream songs when they were popular, but I mean they're in my playlist of songs and whatnot, and I hear them. Jody listens to them. It'll be on, but every time these songs come on, for some reason, like I'll kind of slip out of the room, or I won't listen. If I'm by myself, I won't listen to them, and I don't think
I know how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, the song "My Immortal" by Evanescence is one song that for me, for a few reasons, is one that whenever it's on, I mean, I love the song, but it's one song that I can't physically, I feel like, get through anymore. And the same thing is
I know how that feels.
Yeah, and I mean, like, another is like it's fucking crazy, but like a Maroon 5 song, the Memories.
It's weird
song.
how many
that one makes me
weird
cry.
song. It's like when you like smell something and it takes you back.
Yeah.
There's certain songs that do that. Like they're like, for whatever reason, this random fucking song is. I can't hear it.
Yeah.
There's a MGMT song, "Time to Pretend." Like for some reason, I had like a crazy. I used to trip on psychedelics a lot, and like I don't even barely remember it, but some crazy powerful epiphany I had while we were watching that music video, tripping one day.
Yeah.
To this day, I can't listen to that song without like getting choked up, and like it's like you said, I have to almost like sneak out of the room.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm just like, shit, it's this one. Like I love this song, but I can't hear it anymore.
Yeah.
Because just that one experience just like triggered something that is just going to constantly trigger when it comes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it. I feel it. I understand it. Let's shift over then from songs. Let's move on. Can either of you, or do either of you, have a life-changing album that that has affected you, or maybe helped you at some point in your life, that either of you can recall? If not an album, maybe an artist. I mean, you did mention Coldplay, Angela, but
See, like, what's interesting is there's actually like there are some like albums that like were like you said, life changing, but there's a lot more for me that are more so like just represent different stages of my life in general, which is in a sense the same concept. But it's like there's certain albums that are so like just staples in like a certain period of like my life that is like I would consider, like, for instance, an artist almost nobody knows, which I hate. I know so many of those. Like I'm so sick of being like this awesome artist, and maybe one guy knows it. Like Locutus, he has an album called Three Seashells. Came out in like 2011 or 12. That would be one of them. It's not that it's such a profound album. It's not that it's like just deep meanings behind it. Some songs, sure, but like the project on its own had a huge impact on me, like just as a personality, as like how I, not necessarily how I carried myself, but just, it had an impact.
Right on.
And it's like, I feel like every couple of years an album would come out that like I would just put in that category of changed my life in the minor sense of like that became the staple and that became like my attitude because of this like tie it had to me for whatever reason.
Right on. I mean,
like,
yeah, that's
I was
perfect.
to drop on Three Seashells by Locutus.
My man. Angela, stick with Coldplay? Or you got, I mean...
I mean, that probably has the most impact on me as far as, like, emotionally. I like a lot of reggae, as I said before. Bob Marley, which, P.S., they got a movie coming out. Pretty excited about that.
Yeah, actually, I mean, we can real quickly just mention that too, because I did watch the preview of that movie with somebody I will just shout out, co-worker, shout out Jimmy. He showed me this, the preview of that movie, and like, you got chills when I was watching it. And it was, and the actor, I can't remember the name of who they got playing it, but like, it looked like it was very well done. Comes out, I think, on Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about that. And so when the trailer came out, one of my favorite Bob Marley songs, Redemption songs, was in the trailer. Mm-hmm. And that one, for some reason, it just, that brings a lot of emotion whenever I hear it. And I do love to sing it. I used to play it on the guitar when I was younger. Right. It was just one of those songs that I just really grabbed onto. But I was very excited when it was in the trailer. And I'm very excited to see that movie. So.
Speaking of going back to the song, like if not like setting apart an album and going by a song that changed my life, I just thought of it because it's very recent. Mm-hmm. We had babysitters for the kids for the first time in forever. Me and my now fiance had the house to ourselves for the first time in God knows how long. Yeah. So I hit up my boy and I was like, hey, we want to do a little acid. We haven't gotten to since before our kids were born. Yeah. They're gone for the weekend, like place to ourselves. Like, give me some acid. So I had already gotten my girlfriend's her great grandmother's, like, long past, but our engagement ring. Mm-hmm. And her mother had given it to me for like when the time came, which like I was putting off like a motherfucker. Yeah. Just for no other reason than it's just timing or whatever. Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, we're listening to music and we're tripping in the apartment, like minor, like I can't do shit like I used to. Like talking like one like microdose compared to what the fuck I used to be able to. But like I had just the timing seemed right, and again, it was actually an MGMT song again, but it was the song Electric Feel, and I remember telling myself like I'll just propose to her whenever like I have the right feel, like I'll know the timing, like whenever I feel it. And then this motherfucker's on the TV going, "Do what you feel like," and I'm just like, oh shit, I'm tripping, and it was just so impressionable, and I'm like, that it's now. It's so like I went to my hiding spot and pulled it out, and I went and laid down and we're tripping, and she didn't know what the fuck to say because she's been fucking egging me. It wasn't like a matter of like, will she say yes? Like I know damn well. Like it was like no question. Yeah. So it was just more of a matter of like, is she gonna shit a brick? Right. But like she just baffled. Like I can't even imagine like if like the thing you wanted so bad, like you just got it, but you're tripping balls. So it was like you can't really fully grasping. But now because of that would be a song that like I literally would change my life, because now anytime I hear it, it's like, yeah, I proposed with that song on while I was tripping balls. Right on. It's a good memory. Exactly. So yeah, that would definitely be a life-changing song in my opinion now. That's most recent one.
Right on. I mean, real quickly, I think I've mentioned this maybe in a past show that we've done when we've touched music, but just a life-changing album for me was one of Eminem's records, and it was Recovery. I mean, obviously there's, we don't have to go too deep into any of that shit. It should be self-explanatory, but I mean, to be able to relate so well to many of that, like the songs on that shit, and just how it the connection it helped. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that was definitely a life-changing album. But let me ask you real quick, Zach. What's your opinion on the direction and current state of of music today?
Music now, we're talking like just hip hop or just as a whole?
I mean, we can go either or. Let's stick with just hip-hop for now.
I think, contrary to popular belief, is going in interesting directions because it's like artists are just trying to figure out like what's going to be the next thing to fucking change the lineup. Mm-hmm. And it's like a lot of people, especially like old school heads, like even me at times, like, there's mad mainstream artists. I'm like, the fuck is this? But at the same time, it's like, innovation doesn't necessarily mean they're advancing. It just means this hasn't been done yet. Here we go. Mm. And that's kind of where we're at in hip-hop right now, is you got all these kids coming out that are just like, nobody's kind of doing this yet, and I'm doing it now, and it's popping off. So, like, in my mind, what that is just branching out more subgenres of hip-hop, which is my favorite part of it. Right on. So, my opinion, I think, is going in cool directions because you're just getting more diversity in styles. I think hip hop's not gonna be called hip hop in one state anymore. It's like it's gonna separate too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like pop punk and hip hop are almost the same thing now. All of a sudden, you know, like it's advancing so much, and like it's getting buried behind everybody going, it's not like it used to be. It's like no genre is.
Right. Everything evolves.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, what would you say to someone who is trying to become an inspiring artist?
I would say make sure you put out everything you fucking record as it's ready. Like, stop sitting on it. That's my biggest flaw, was sitting on shit. And then show up to stuff. Like, the amount of opportunities I missed because I woke up, I was like, I don't want to fucking do that. Or like, I was like, I don't feel like trying to figure this out. Like, you know, you'd think you could skip on certain things, and then, you know, you don't know what you miss.
Right.
All the fucking shit that I actually showed up to, contrary to what I wanted to do that day, ended up being a fucking big boost.
Nice.
So it's like, you know, it's do shit. That is the best thing I can say.
My man.
Do shit.
Get off your ass and get them done.
All right. Well, I mean, we're going to be wrapping it up soon. But, Angela, I mean, you got anything else for Zack?
Is there something that the fans don't know about you, or
It's split. It depends how much they like know me. Like if it's people that met through a show, then probably not much surprises. But like people who just know me through like the audio waves probably think I'm a terrible person. And I don't blame them, but like, they probably think I'm fucking awful. And it's like, no, going by just what I'm saying, and 90% of my songs is like, yeah, what a piece of shit. I mean, you know, then they meet me and it's like, oh yeah. Like I forget what fucking song it is, but I literally touch on that. They're like, "You're such a nice guy, but you're vile as fuck. Like, why are you doing this?" You know, it's just I like to be the opposite of what I actually am. Right. Like I just like, I don't know, that contrast. Like the idea of like Steve-O, like from Jackass, he has that thing where he had a trouble separating his persona from his real self. Mm-hmm. In my mind, it's kind of like they're separate. You know, it's a dual personality, and like I like the opposite to get further and further. You know, it's like separating myself from this like I don't want to say persona, because it's not like I'm putting on anything. It's just I like the idea of having this like outlet to be the opposite of who I am on the daily.
Absolutely.
So like, but yeah, because of that, a lot of people probably think I fucking suck. They're like, these songs slap, but I don't want to know this motherfucker.
That's awesome.
Well, right on. I mean, Zack Frizzy, thanks again for agreeing to come on. It's all relative. You know, like I said in the beginning, bro, we greatly appreciate it.
I'm glad to come out.
One last question for you. You know, something that we kind of ask every guest. Who is someone that you may have in your life Rolodex that you would maybe recommend to be a guest on our show?
I actually, before I was able to lock my brother down for my ride. Mm-hmm. I was trying to get my boy Bellafato. He was our guitarist for our punk band that kind of fell apart last year. Mm-hmm. But he's got a new metal band, and they're fucking doing cool ass shit. And like he's the most stereotypical metal motherfucker you could ever ask for. Uh-huh. He's such a nihilistic like dick, but he make great radio. Dude, perfect. And like I wanted him to come with me because I wanted to actually try to set that up, because like his band is starting to sound really fucking good.
Right now.
And like I'm kind of mad because I was the vocalist for our last band, so I'm a little jealous, but it's my own fault. I went and had kids. So like, but I would recommend Mike Bellafato and his band. Oh my god, he's gonna be so mad at me for slipping on the name. I'm drawing a blank. Ailments, sorry. Don't get mad at me. Shout out Bellafato. But you know, Ailments, the band, like I don't know his bandmates' names. They like kind of ragtag together when our shit fell apart. Mm-hmm. But like no, they're all cool people from what I met. But Bellafato, my boy,
dope.
I would say him.
Appreciate that, bro. Is there anything or anyone that you know that you want to plug or shout out?
Oh man. If I think about it too much, it'd go on too long. But I want to shout out Jackson again, because like Thinking of Lemon, like you know he made that shit. But shout out him, shout out Judah, because like every single one of my best songs is featuring Judah. All my best reviews are featuring Judah Phenom. So I gotta shout him out, because fucking he has to outshine me on every goddamn song I put him on. But you know, shout out John at Central Sun Studios. Shout out my damn self. Rapin Frizzy.
My man.
Rapin Frizzy.
I'll go on forever. There's a lot of people who I owe dues to. Shout out Danica for giving me gas money to get out here today.
I mean, shout. Everybody's
Times are tough.
I feel you. Actually, I kind of want to just ask you, since you mentioned him. I didn't know. I mean, I guess I think I saw it through some of the music or whatever. But you mentioned Judah.
Yeah.
Him and I don't really know each other too well, but a funny story
It's one of
is
the motherfuckers know everybody, but like whether or not how well,
Yeah.
everybody knows who Judah is from one experience or another.
he used to work at a specific gas station in Newburgh that I used to go to all the time when I used to be younger, and I used to be faded, and I would go in there every night, and he used to know. He'd be like, "Damn, yo, you look high," like he'd call me out on shit like that. But like, I know that he's done some work too. I think with Jack also. But
Yeah. No, they work together a lot, and he actually makes his like merch and shit. Judah like got the press and everything.
yeah,
Nice.
Where like they got some kind of business deal going on there. I don't know. Jack be getting good merch from Judah for cheap out thing. Like I'm a little jealous.
That's awesome. But right on. What are some of your social media accounts in case fans want to get at you?
I'm on pretty much literally everything but Twitter because I ain't paying for that shit. But everything's under Rapin Frizzy. I keep it simple. RAPN FRIZZY at any one of the fucking things. From TikTok, every streaming site, Insta, everything.
Dope.
Just everything at Rapin Frizzy.
All right, Angela, what are your social media accounts?
So Instagram, I'm randomange78. And you can catch the show on Instagram as well at its_all_relative_podcast.
And you guys can always find me at Josh_Toth3. That's my Instagram. And my Facebook is Joshua Toth. Big shout out to Stellar Sound and Media. And once again, our editor, Jackson Wallace.
Oh, yeah. Real quick, too, I almost forgot. I got to shout out the label out in Myrtle Beach, Delusional Music. They put me on my first shows when I was like 16 when I couldn't even do shit right. My homie Tasha runs it now. And I got to plug them in.
Dope.
Like Delusional Music, Tasha Lynn. Yeah, what's good?
Nice.
Shout.
And a huge shout out to Timber Design and Build. If you're looking for home renovations, improvements, additions, and clean quality work, contact Chris Rawl or Jeff Wigman on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media that you use.
Their YouTube's lit, too. I follow that shit.
My man, appreciate that.
Judah hit me up. He's like, yo, follow these people. I'm like, all right. And nah, I see their shit.
Yeah, I'm with that company.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why. Yeah, shout out Timber.
Also, don't forget to subscribe and follow It's All Relative on Apple Podcasts, Spotify for podcasters, YouTube and YouTube Music, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. If you're using Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave a comment and a 5-star rating. It helps us, really, really helps us. Also, if you can leave feedback, that also helps us in what you want to hear in the future. Would also help as well.
Yes, we appreciate everyone who has taken the time to rate the show on Apple, who's left a review, a comment, whatever. We see all of you guys. We love you. We appreciate you. And keep those coming. Like we said, that helps us and the show out immensely.
Definitely.
All right, that's a wrap. Frizzy, thanks again, bro.
Yeah, nah, thanks for having me out, man.
All right, everyone, stay safe, stay kind, stay proud and powerful, and we'll see everyone soon. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.